Joining us right now, Texans Radio, it's head coach David Culley. Coach, congratulations on the win, and it's so nice to say that. It really is. I know we're still in the sort of 24-hour period here, so I can say that. What was your reaction, or what is it a day later? What does it do for the team, for the organization to win a game like that?
Hey, that's our job in this league to win, Mark. And I tell you what, it had been a while since we experienced that feeling. And in the locker room after the game, it doesn't matter who it is you're playing. We happened to yesterday be playing, going into that game, the number one team in the AFC in this league. A very good football team, a well-coached football team, knowing that it was going to be a tough game, into some tough conditions. But when you go out and you play and you do the right things and play football the way you feel like you should be playing, you get that feeling back again. And we got it yesterday, and it was great to get that feeling. And it feels good today.
When you stood up in front of the team yesterday, you got everybody inside, you got all the staff and everybody in the locker room. What are you thinking about that point? I mean, is like the whole game flashing back in your head, coach, as you're talking to them? Like, are you feeling pride? Are you happy? Is it relief? Is it kind of everything all at once?
Everything all at once, and the big thing was, too, from a relief standpoint, in saying that we knew what we had to do to be able to get to that feeling again.
Yeah.
And we actually went out yesterday and did that. Offensively, we always said we got to take care of the ball. Defensively, not give up big plays.
Yep.
We gave up one,
Yep.
but we got 5 turnovers. And then play complementary football. We did that yesterday. And when you do that in this league, regardless of who you're playing, John, you're going to have a good chance going into the fourth quarter to win that game. And then yesterday, we made it a little bit closer at the end than we'd like it to have been.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good lead right there. But when you're playing in the NFL and you're playing that kind of football team, you got to play 4 quarters and you got to finish. And we were able to do that yesterday and get that really good feeling back again.
Coach, on Friday I asked you if being in the Buffalo game was going to help you if you had inclement weather. You did have inclement weather. Johnny says, he's on the sideline, he says it was worse than Buffalo, but you tell me. And then how did Buffalo help you? Because it seemed like the guys were largely unfazed by the rain.
Well, the fact that we had gone through that in Buffalo, and John is correct, it was worse yesterday than it was in Buffalo because it was constant.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there were times in the second half that I know the weather did have an effect with Tyrod holding on to the ball a couple times and our center with our gun snaps of getting the ball back, because normally balls are always dry when you get them. But once you set them down and you go through your cadence, you go through the things, the rain gets on the ball, it gets a little slippery. And we had a couple of times yesterday late in that game where it was a factor, but for the most part, when you take care of the football the way our offense took care of the football yesterday in those conditions, good things are going to happen. And then you go but to the other side, they had 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions. I don't know if the weather had anything to do with that or not. I think that was more the way our defense played and the way our up front put pressure on the quarterback yesterday. But for the most part, having been in Buffalo, and as John said earlier, it was a little bit tougher. But the fact that we had been there helped us get through what we did yesterday.
That field got bad, didn't it?
It did.
I mean, that field
well, we had a bunch of people, John, slipping, Mark.
Yeah.
We had people slipping. We had Rex slip one time in the backfield.
Yeah.
Had Zach slip one time on a play that he's probably getting ready to make an interception on, but he slips. But that's just it. And that field that we played on there now, that field gets played on by college.
Yeah.
Field gets played on by the Titans. And it also had just recently been played on by a high school playoff football game.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I wouldn't say it was beat up, but
Yeah.
you could tell there was some wear and tear on it.
Yeah, you definitely could see the wear and tear. I'm going to ask you a strange question, but you've coached receivers a long, long time. Is there a teaching point to Nico with that reception? Because, I say reception in air quotes, because if he'd gotten up and been demonstrative about him catching the ball, do you think the official would have signaled a touchdown? Because I think either way the replay went, I think it would have stood. So if he sells that, like, I definitely got that thing. Like, your guy Terrell Owens would have gotten up and he would have told everybody he caught a touchdown, and the refs would have been like, well, I guess it's a touchdown. Is there a teaching point there at all for him?
Well, you got to remember now, that's a rookie.
I know.
He was just happy to be able to come down and make the catch, it was in the end zone. And at that point, he had no idea that it was even a question of being a touchdown or not a touchdown.
Yeah.
He knew right away that I made the catch.
Right.
It was close on the sideline. He had gotten his feet down. He had done everything possible to get everything down to make that a legal catch. Unfortunately for him, as the explanation was to me, is that the knee did catch the line.
Yeah.
His elbow was fine,
in,
which
yeah.
everybody kept looking at the elbow. Was his elbow in? Well, it wasn't the elbow. It was the knee. And looking back on the replay, you could see that the knee catching a little bit of the line.
Coach,
and I think regardless of how he would have reacted to it, they were gonna make the call.
Coach, without getting into specifics, we don't want to get anybody fined here, but do you ever hear, in general terms, from the league during the week about officiating mishaps? Do you send in a tape sometime about questions you've had as an organization of things that occur within a given game? And do you get any – there's no recourse, but do you get any feedback from them?
Mark, we send many in.
Okay.
And basically we don't only send them in just because it felt like something that was against us. We'll send it in and say, well, why was this called? Or the rule says this, but this is what happened on the play. And we do that every week, and every week they will always, within reason, they will send you back a response as to why they made a call, as to why they didn't make a call, and why the call went as it was. But we do that every week, and everybody in the league does that, and the league office will respond quickly with that.
Coach, the end of the half was an interesting one because Tannehill throws the ball away once he gets the pressure from Ross. And I saw them signal intentional grounding. I'm thinking, okay, well, those back up for a field goal attempt. Did you know did you know the 10-second runoff was coming and that was it? Because it felt like on the sideline, everybody kind of looked at each other like, I was coming to talk to you, and I was seeing guys go by like, wow. Like they were sort of shocked at the end of the half, the way that it sort of unfolded. How did you see that? And what was kind of the explanation that you got from the ref on that?
The good thing about that for me was that I didn't realize what was going on at the time either, but I did have an official come over to say, Coach, there's going to be a 10-second runoff.
Oh, wow.
So we knew.
Yeah.
They knew the situation. Obviously, on the other side, they weren't for sure what was happening either. And I don't know how many people did know exactly that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But when Mike decided to either take a penalty or not take the penalty, whatever the situation was, the official did alert me that says there will be a 10-second runoff, which I says, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, 3 seconds left. Yeah, it's a great thing.
Yeah, it was a big moment there, Coach, because, every point counts. And
yes.
The field goals were not gimmies at any distance. Each team missed an extra point, but Fairbairn came through for you as well with the field goals.
He did, and we have the utmost confidence in him. I mean, that guy, when it's on the line, he's going to make the kick. He did it. Obviously with the one PAT that we missed. Other than that, again, probably the field conditions had something to do with that. We knew that was tough sledding down there for both kickers to be able to kick. I think they missed one too, did they not?
They missed an extra point.
They missed an extra point too. But we knew we got him at his distance that, he was very confident, and we were confident that he would make it, and he did a great job. He's done that for 2 weeks for us now.
Coach, speaking of your other kicker, your punter, Cam Johnston, and what he's been able to do, he's got a punt out of the back of the end zone on that one where y'all were completely backed up. And then he's got to get the one off. I think it was 19-13. He's got to get that one off with them coming. And then he pooches that one that hits Chester Rogers' foot. That ball hits right at about the 4. To us, he seems like he's just punting the ball as well as he possibly could. What do you like about what Cam's doing? And the flip side of that is your special teams overall, what that group has done.
Well, they've been very consistent for us. And, we've always felt like that when you're playing complementary football, that all units have a chance to be able to score.
Yeah.
They have put us in position this year numerous times to be able to score offensively or defensively because of what our special teams has done. And Cam, it's not just how far he punts it, it's where he punts it. He's doing a great job of field position for us. And that's a weapon. And he did it all yesterday. And in front of him is you got that protection. They do a great job, our protection, of being able to get him off. And he has the utmost confidence regardless of where we're punting. And in those conditions, with Jonathan snapping that ball, who there's nobody better in the league at snapping that thing than he is because of his experience. And there's a confidence level that everybody have right there. And when Cam has that confidence level, there's no kind of punt that you have to have in this league that he can't do. And he's done them all for us this year.
Coach, defensively yesterday, you had the takeaways, but you got pressure on the quarterback. Not a ton of sacks, but you were getting in there, into the pocket, maybe forcing some throws that were a little quicker or different than he would have wanted. What were some of the things you might have been doing differently yesterday that you could share with us as opposed to whatever worked in general?
Well, you talked about pressure and no sacks. Mm-hmm. Well, think about those interceptions they got.
Yeah.
Those interceptions came off of our pressure. There's two ways that pressure becomes positive for you: either getting a sack or forcing a bad throw.
Right.
They did it yesterday. They didn't get the sacks, but they forced some bad throws, and those bad throws end up turning into takeaways for us. And I thought they did a good job all day. They did a good job with a very mobile quarterback of keeping him in the pocket and forcing him to be able to make those throws down the field. And when he did, our coverages were good, and when he made an errant throw, we were there to make plays.
Coach, we've talked about the defensive line a lot. I don't know that we've talked in great detail about your linebackers. And after yesterday, that might be a great spot because Zach Cunningham seemingly is playing the best ball the last couple of weeks. Kamu, I mean, I don't know what you can say more about what he's been able to do, except for the fact he's going to take a lot of grief and took a lot of grief for not getting in the end zone. I'm sure you gave him a little bit of grief.
We did.
You'll needle him a little bit. But those two guys seemingly at your linebacker position have been very, very good. What's been the key for them the last couple of weeks, you think?
Well, they're veteran guys that play all the time. They know about playing the position. They do a good job. They're very comfortable in this defense that our defensive staff has. And those guys go out week in and week out and are playing consistent football for us. And one of the reasons that they're able to do what they're doing is, and the same thing with our secondary yesterday, was simply because of the pressure that they get from our upfront people that allows those guys to do their job. And they've been doing a heck of a job of that. And then the guys that have been coming in for them has been doing a good job. Neville and KPL, those are guys that have all come in and done a nice job for us.
Well, you knew they were going to try to run the ball. All the talk about them not having Derrick Henry, but there they were. They beat the Rams in L.A., and they beat the Saints the previous week, and they want to run the ball. And you guys, they still got 100 total, a little bit over that, but you really kept them in check with the defense. Discuss what that took for us, Coach, because Deontay Foreman, Dontrell Hilliard, you're very familiar with him. I mean, those guys are starting to get a few cracks at daylight, but you shut them down when you had to.
Well, the thing is that you know they're going to keep bringing at you. And they're going to continue to do that regardless of whether 22's in there or not. As I said before, going into the week, they're not going to change who they are. You're just going to see a couple of other people doing what they do other than that. And, you know, our upfront people knew that they were going to continue to do it. When you run it as much as they do and as well as they do, they're going to be some yards. But we never let them get the really big yards. We made them earn every yard that they got yesterday. And that's what you want to do, is make them go the long way, not give up the really big plays. And our defense did a good job of doing that.
All right, Coach, I want to make sure I ask this question the right way because I don't want to be called a Thanksgiving Grinch or anything like that. But how tough does this week become with Thanksgiving, all the holidays coming up, with everything that goes on? And obviously we want to be about our families and be around our families and give thanks for all that we're lucky to have. But as a coach, getting ready for a game on Sunday, how disruptive can that be?
Well, it's really not disruptive. It becomes actually a focus for us, simply because we know that on Wednesday we're going to have a normal practice. We know that comes Thursday, it is Thanksgiving. We're going to honor that. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our players actually get home to be with their families, and everybody in this building, is that we're going to start things a lot earlier, but we're going to get the same work done that we need to get done. And then we're going to come Friday. It's going to be a normal Friday. I say normal Friday. It's hard to say it's going to be a normal Friday when they've been home all day eating all of that Thanksgiving dinner. Now, you know what? I'll be right with them to do that. But for the most part, they understand and they know. But the biggest thing is that we'll keep our schedule. We'll honor the day. We'll understand what it's all about. And it's always easier coaching the week of Thanksgiving after a win.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Good point.
Always. Yeah. The psyche is right. You keep things in perspective.
Yeah.
And instead of me eating too much turkey and dressing, I'll eat just enough. And then after that, I will eat more. Come back.
All right.
Look forward to hearing about that. But you have the Jets now. And here you are coming off the victory, 3-game homestand. I know we take them one at a time.
Yes.
But the New York Jets, Coach, and this is a team that beat Tennessee when they had Derrick Henry, to show you that anything is possible in this league at any time.
Yes, and as we've talked about all along, when you coach in this league for a long time, Mark and John, records don't matter in November and December. Records don't matter. And I think yesterday in our game against the Titans, that's a classic example. I guess if you look at all the people outside of football that do whatever they do as far as looking at football games and saying, probably, not a good matchup today, right? But when you're inside and you play and you do things the right way, it doesn't matter who you play. That day, the team that plays the best, regardless of the record, is going to win the game. And fortunately for us, yesterday, we were the best team on the field because we played better. And when you do that, you win football games.
Coach, you bring up a great point, and that's about noise, as I say it in air quotes. Winning is validation of what you're doing in some sense of what you've done right, what your plan was during the week, all that kind of stuff. But how much does winning help the players to sort of block out that noise, as in, yeah, man, what y'all say doesn't matter to us. I know you're supposed to think that, but when you're kind of going through a tough streak, maybe you hear some of that noise, but how much does winning sort of squelch some of that noise for the players and for the staff and everybody, really?
Well, basically what it does is that when you win, it validates blocking out the noise.
Yeah.
It validates the fact that if you allow the noise to interfere with what you're doing and the process that you're going through, staying the course, the more you lose, the more you feel like that there may be something to that.
Yeah.
This football team is a classic example of keep the noise out, keep doing the right things, play football the right way, and when you go out and play the right way, you get your wins.
Yeah.
And it's no different this week playing the New York Jets. I mean, we go out and we play the football game the way we should play the football game. They play it the way they should play the football game. It's going to be a fourth quarter ball game, and whoever plays the best and whoever does the right things is going to have a chance to win the game. And the records don't matter.
They have three different quarterbacks. You mentioned this in your presser. I want to talk about this a little bit. They've had three different quarterbacks, Zach Wilson, Mike White, and Joe Flacco. They're all a little bit different. Does that matter in preparation for these guys? I'm sure it does matter a little bit, but the overall scheme of the things, you're going to face a Jets quarterback. Does it matter which one? I mean, Joe, you may know a little bit from time in Baltimore, but does it matter which guy you face? Is it important? Way too important? Where does it sit, those three quarterbacks, and which one's going to start?
It's important from the standpoint of knowing what the pluses and minuses are of that particular quarterback.
Yeah.
But listen, whatever quarterback of those three they play, they're not changing their offense.
Right.
The offense is the offense. When the first team guy went down, the second team guy came in, they ran the same offense. Yeah. If his skill set's a little bit different, there may be things in that offense that they won't do because he doesn't do that. We've gone through that ourselves here with Davis and Tyrod.
Right.
Yeah, but we're going to run our offense. They're going to run their offense. We'll know who that quarterback is and know his history and understand what he does well and what he doesn't do well. But basically, we're going to defend their offense, not particularly that quarterback.
All right, Coach, running the football, it's the weekly what are we going to do to run the football better question, and I know it's been difficult, but you mentioned it in your press conference. It's important to stick with it. Even if you're not getting everything you need, you're getting carries, you're drawing attention with the defense, you're setting up play action, whatever else you can get out of it. So I know it's something you put a lot of time into. What are you thinking here as we progress into the later stages of the season?
Coming out of this football game, we had 31 rushing attempts. Not counting the 6 that Tyrod had when he had the ball in his hands.
Okay.
And basically what that does is it makes the defense play everything that's getting ready to happen. They're not just playing, regardless of whether you're getting 2 yards, 3 yards, or whatever is on that play. But the positive thing about doing that is it allows us to do the other things that we need to do in our play action game. It takes pressure off our up front, and it takes pressure off our passing game when they know they have to defend it, regardless of how much you're getting out of it. And I thought yesterday we did a really good job of, not just because of the conditions with the weather, but of us staying with it. I thought Tim and the offensive staff did a good job of doing the things that we felt like we needed to do. And then when we were able to throw the ball, Tyrod did a nice job. Our receivers and tight ends and backs did a nice job of being able to make the plays that needed to be played simply because of what we had attempted to do in the run game. And basically, to make it better, we just got to block better. We got to execute better, and then things will happen. But we're going to stay with it, and we're going to stick with it.
I know the numbers didn't show it, but it looked like Rex gave you a little pop from time to time. Might have had his best game so far in that department.
This is probably the second week that he has been very, very effective for us. And, he's one of those guys that just does the right things all the time. And basically, he's got his hands on it a few times yesterday, and he got us some pretty good first downs yesterday when we needed to get some first downs. He got us some good plus yardages on first and second down that put us in good third down situations. He's just been playing very, very well for us.
Coach, we talked about Thanksgiving a little bit. No, we got to get into our Thanksgiving dinner in just a second. But I know it was a Sunday early, but you did have a chance to see some family and reunite with some family a little bit before the game there in Nashville. What was that like, and how did that go for you?
It was nice. It feels real good now that we won the ball game.
Of course. You flying in Sunday? They coming in Sunday? I mean, good luck, charms. Look, I traveled with a different travel bag, so I got to use it for the rest of the year now.
One of my sisters told me that my oldest sister told me that her name is Deborah. She said that, look, you know why you won, don't you? She says, I came to the game.
Yeah.
He says, I came to the game in bad conditions.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a brother that came to the game also, my nephew and some other people that came down to the game. But it's always satisfying. But again, first of all, that was a good football team we were playing.
Yep.
We're playing in the state that I grew up.
Yeah.
We're playing in my home. We weren't playing in my hometown, but my hometown is about an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was good just to get that win. And it did felt extra special getting it back there, especially against a very good football team.
Yeah, it's funny because on the television broadcast, we're on the radio, so we didn't see this, but they were showing your hairstyle from back in the day.
Marc, why
mustache
did you
and
do
everything.
that to me?
They did it too.
Coach, have you showed this to the team? Have you showed an old picture of yourself to the team? I think that's major credibility. See, look at my hair the way it used to be, the mustache. You guys can't look this good.
Well, you know what? And I know they couldn't have, and they wouldn't have. But, that was a sign of the times right then. That's an old Prince song that people know.
Yeah.
But, John, you understand that, right?
Yes.
But
I love the fact you love Prince.
Oh, I love Prince. Love Prince.
That's
Got
awesome.
everything he's ever put out. I've even got waiting on stuff that they're going to still put out that, although he's no longer here. But I'm going to buy it anyway.
Absolutely.
But it was, it was just good,
Coach, turkey, absolute at Thanksgiving or no?
Absolute.
Okay, got to have it.
Absolute.
Stuffing or dressing?
Both.
Okay. Cranberry sauce or no?
Cranberry sauce. You can't have. You can't.
All right, wait. You have to cut
Thanksgiving.
a dish. Cut a dish from the table. You got to put a dish on waivers. What's it going to be?
Like a common one
Tradition?
that a lot of people put at their Thanksgiving. Like somebody tried to cut ambrosia one year. I'm like, who puts ambrosia on a Thanksgiving table?
Ambrosia.
Yeah, it's like marshmallows and Jell-O, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But a dish that most people would put at Thanksgiving, which one? What would you take out?
What would I take out?
Yeah, what would you take out?
I'm not taking out anything at Thanksgiving for a dish. Now, please. That's why it's Thanksgiving. To give thanks with taking the dishes. But I take out one.
What's the MVP then? What is the MVP of Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh, the MVP to Thanksgiving dinner with my wife, because she is the best in the world at doing this. MVP is macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Macaroni and cheese, the very best. Listen to this. I've had guys that I have coached with that have gone on to other places that have asked me to have my wife send them some mac and cheese.
Wow.
That's how good it is.
Yes.
In dry
Send them
ice.
some mac and cheese.
That's all. Okay, once you finish the meal and it's time for dessert, where are you going?
Man, there's a bunch of desserts, that I would go to. I go to carrot cake.
Okay.
I go to a cheesecake. Always got to have ice cream. Doesn't necessarily have to be Haagen-Dazs. Bluebell would be fine.
Yeah.
No problem. And I just had this yesterday after the game. Not only did I not take one of these, I took two of these. Banana pudding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who it was that served us after the game yesterday, but whoever it was, they asked me, they said, would you want some banana pudding? I says, of course I would. They had brisket. It was a barbecue place, right? You guys get some?
Yeah.
Now, and they said, yeah, we got also got the banana pudding here. I says, you do? I says, yeah, here's one. I says, one? I says, do you have an extra one? Of course we got an extra one. I took two of those and threw them down before I got on the plane.
I feel like your true southernness, anybody's true southernness is measured in banana pudding, bread pudding, those things. Like, they'll measure your southern. You go into a place and your banana pudding is bad, then you're not southern.
Oh, no question. But I'm going to tell you, though, we haven't mentioned one that's also a southern thing, pecan pie. Yeah. And I don't know if you say pecan or whatever here, but I know pecan pie.
You said it right.
I think people up north say pecan, which they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. But no, pecan pie.
Right.
Also.
Well, I have the Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week, and I'm hijacking it because I wanted to ask you about Dave McGinnis, who's coached in this league, and he does the color commentary for Titans Radio. I visited with him before the game, and he said so many nice things about you, wanted me to tell you hello. He was asking me what it's like to work with you. I said, it's awesome, obviously, so I just wanted to pass that along.
Well, think that Dave is a very good friend, and he's one of the guys in this league that I've actually been in touch with. When I go to Tennessee, I try to call him up when I'm there during the summer. He's a wonderful guy. He was an excellent football coach in this league, and he's one of the good people in this business.
So were the folks in Sparta happier that you won or more disappointed that the Titans got their butt kicked?
Listen, I got like 120 text messages from Sparta, not only from Sparta, from other little towns in Sparta that we had beat up in football when I was playing that were so happy that we won the game. Now, obviously, only that was because it was me. And they had a little history with me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, and a couple of those texts said, look, don't tell nobody. But I'm glad you won. Okay.
Well, we just told a few people. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us.
You're welcome.